Welcome to today's video. Join us on our bright journey as we look back at what we did to start the process of moving to Madeira from the UK post-Brexit, what visa options were available to us as retirees, looking for our dream home, and visiting Madeira for the first time when COVID was stopping international travel.
And
take
video.
One.
Take one. Right, where are we?
Madeira.
Okay, we're in Madeira. And today's video is about how we started the process to find a house here, find out if we could actually move here. Oh, let's start that again.
Take two.
So today's video is about finding out if we could find a way to move to Madeira as retirees, and also what we did once we'd decided this was the place we wanted to be. So the first thing we did once we found Madeira and loved it, what we really wanted to do was visit. However,
but we also needed to understand how feasible, how easy it was to move here.
yeah, if we could even get a
Right,
visa.
right.
Because we couldn't for Sweden. Could we for here?
Mm.
So yeah, so those are the two things. We wanted to visit and we wanted to find out if there was an option for us to get a visa to live here.
And we still don't have our visa yet, and that's another story.
Oh, that's a really long story. We've been here for a month and our visa application still hasn't gone in. But that is another story, that's a video for another time. And if you want to find out more about applying for a visa, then keep watching. First thing we did when we decided we wanted to live here was we looked for a house, didn't we? We got onto Rightmove.
To see what our money would get, what we could do, where we could live.
Yeah. And Rightmove, if you're in the UK, is the website to go to. So we went to Rightmove, overseas property, looked for Madeira and looked at what we could buy. However, we can save you a bit of time here, because if you are looking for a property in Madeira, then you need to go to a website called idealista.pt. That is the website that lists most of the property for sale here, not all of it, because a lot of property isn't even listed with agents. People will just sell it privately. So you do also need an agent to help you find property. But idealista.pt is where we found our house. And when you set up an account on there, you can set up alerts, you can save favourites, you can set up different zones that you're looking at, different regions. So it's a really good website.
The only thing I'll say is, when you view the property, that's only half the score, because you look at the house, what you don't know are the areas. Because we viewed a property that looked great. Behind it, literally behind it, was a brewery.
Oh yes, it was, wasn't there?
Yeah. So yeah. It's okay, but it's only half the story.
It is only half the
Yeah.
story. The other thing about property that goes for sale here is it often goes with lots of different agents. Mm. And we were told that sometimes the property would be listed at a different price with different agents. I don't think we found that.
No, and the other thing with multiple listings is that one agent could have a deposit taken on the property and another agent wouldn't know.
Oh yes, so it still looks like it's for sale and it's not. So that's also another thing to watch out for. And I think the other key for us in buying our property was Angela.
At Newco.
Yes. Mm. So we were put in touch with Angela, who works for a company called Newco, who were also our lawyers. And she was a real integral part of our property search. And she was brilliant, and I will put a link to her website in the description, because she was really super helpful, speaks brilliant English, and she would just FaceTime us randomly from properties.
She would not use Idealista. What she would do is the local network. There's houses here that are for sale that aren't listed with agents. They just have a handwritten sign out front, and sometimes they stay there for sale for years, and some people a mile away wouldn't even know. So she had the local knowledge.
Yeah, that was really good. We literally gave her our criteria. We told her what we wanted, which isn't actually what we ended up with. So we told her what we wanted, and she looked for a property to fit our criteria. But she really understood, didn't she? She really got us. We wanted to be somewhere quiet, remote, green, just not probably what a lot of people want, because a lot of people, we spoke to another agent also who we used when we first visited, and we told him what we wanted in the north of the island, quiet, green, and he kept showing us properties in the south.
He just didn't listen.
Because he said, no, you want to be in the sun in the south. And we're like, no, but look at the sun here. And funnily enough, every time our architect visits us here in Ponta Delgada, she says it's sunnier here than in Funchal, where she's just left. We are in a bit of a microclimate here because we do get a lot of sun, which not all the north does, but we do, don't we? So yeah. We're very grateful for that as well. We just love it. So that's finding the property. Those are the ways to do it. But as for the visa, I think what we did again, you were busy working, so I googled how to emigrate to Madeira and got flooded with lots of websites that could help. And it looked like there was two options for us: a golden visa, which is an investment visa, and a D7, which is based on income.
Yes.
So the website I really liked the look of was Digital Emigrate, and Samantha was really helpful. I sent her an email and just said, we're trying to find out about emigrating to Madeira as retirees, please can you help? And she got straight back to us and set up a video call, and we had a really helpful video call with her.
Yeah, we did. And I think she highlighted the basics of what was required for the visa to emigrate, and an English person's view of the island, having moved here herself.
Oh yes, because Samantha's English, so
so I think we found that very helpful. And when she introduced us to Newco, that really gave us the adrenaline rush that we needed to kind of, okay, so we have people now that understand, that can help us.
Yeah.
And that's when we just kind of went for it.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
I don't ever remember it being a conscious decision, let's go for it. We just did it.
No, exactly.
We didn't discuss it, so okay, we'll do it.
No, we just
okay, we'll do it.
So for us then, it was a case of wanting to visit the island because we'd never been, and we'd seen everything looked amazing on the internet, and we really knew in our hearts this is what we wanted.
Didn't we talk to Sam after our visit in July?
No, it was first.
Was it?
Because we met her, didn't we? Do you remember?
Yeah.
We actually met her here and she showed us around.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so we were waiting for COVID to allow us to travel, because at the time there was a ban on international travel, and we just kept waiting, thinking, oh no, we so want to visit, and we couldn't really do anything until we visited, because we did want to visit first, didn't we?
Oh, we have to.
That was the right thing. I don't know. I think now I know we could have just done it, but we needed to visit, and we finally got the go-ahead at June, didn't we? And as soon as Boris said we could travel, we booked our flights. But the flight, that was fine. It was all the COVID tests, wasn't it?
Cost more than the flights.
Yes, and the anxiety over whether you would get a negative test. It was quite... Oh, anyone who's done the travelling during COVID will know. But we did it, and we came, and I think both of us, as soon as we got off the plane, we just, yeah, this is good.
But the thing was, we spent 6-7 days driving over 600 miles on an island that's only 35 by 15.
We did a lot of exploring.
And the only place we didn't visit was Ponta Delgada.
Yes! That's true. Isn't that funny?
But we didn't find a house.
We didn't find a house. We looked at, we saw a few properties that we ruled out, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were a little disheartened, I think. I think also the other thing was, when we spoke to Sam, and she did confirm that the golden visa was for us, at the time, Portugal were making changes to the golden visa. They came into effect in January this year. And because of that, there was a little uncertainty of how much we had to invest here, because the changes they were making, I think they were removing the Algarve and Lisbon from the golden visa places that people could invest in, and it needed to be more central Portugal. Madeira was still on the table, so you could still invest in Madeira, but with the golden visa there's two levels of investment. The 500,000 euro, which is very straightforward. You buy a property for 500,000 euros and then you can apply for your golden visa. But we wanted to go the other route, which was investing in a property in an ARU, an area of
urban rehabilitation,
and that needed renovating. That's what we wanted, but there was some uncertainty at that point as to how much we'd have to invest and where we could buy that property. So it was a little bit difficult for us to know exactly what we could do.
It wasn't just a case of finding the house that we wanted. It was the house that we wanted that was the right value, that was in the right area for urban rehabilitation. It was eligible because of its age for rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And just so many ticks had to go in the box before we even considered it.
Yeah, that's true. I think at one point we were even thinking if we couldn't resolve that, we would maybe buy a property for us to live in and a property to Airbnb, all for 500,000. So invest maybe 350 in our house and 150 in an Airbnb. That was a route we did look into, didn't we? But we don't really want to do Airbnb. We want to just have fun, don't we? So at this point, it wasn't really what we wanted. So once we'd got that established, we visited, we looked at a few properties, but we stayed in a house that I loved. We found an Airbnb that I'd found for sale on Rightmove, and I loved it, and we stayed there. And I knew it wasn't the right one. You knew it wasn't the right one for us.
It's great for a holiday, but you wouldn't want to live in it, I don't think.
It wasn't right, and it was in Salvacent, and we did fall in love with this part of the island, didn't we? And then we stayed a week in Santa Cruz in the south, and again it was a nice Airbnb on the ocean.
It was gorgeous.
It was a lovely Airbnb, wasn't it? But we didn't like the south really.
It felt too much like a holiday area, and it was a holiday area.
Yeah, it's very busy. Yeah. It just wasn't for us. So, but yes, you're right. When we visited, we didn't come here.
No.
I don't know how that happened. And then, for us, we got back and we decided this is where we want to be. But really, to actually enable us to move, to start the process properly, the only way we could do that was to sell our house in the UK.
Welcome to the Briars. Now, this 4-bedroom detached property of individual design is absolutely stunning, and it has the wow factor, which you will see later.
You can't do anything without selling, or at least if you haven't got the cash to do it and keep your house.
Because here you have to buy it, once you've committed to a property, you have to buy it in a certain amount of time, don't you?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. So unlike in the UK where you can sell a property and buy a property at the same time, we needed to have the cash. And I think that was the hardest thing, was putting the house on the market, not having a clue where we were going to buy, where we were going to live.
But that's when we put it on the market to sell it. But by the time we'd sold it,
we'd found our house.
We'd placed a deposit, everything kind of tied in nicely.
Yeah, it did tie in. But we never knew that would happen, did we? Because when we came back from our holiday here, I remember you looked on Idealista and you said to me, I found our house, but it was sold. Oh, it didn't say it was sold. You said to me, you found our house and you showed it to me, and I was like, oh my God, that is our house. And you rang the agent and he said it was sold. It was in July, and I had it saved as a favourite, and it got relisted, and Idealista sent me an email saying one of your favourites has been relisted. I remember we were training in the gym, it was about October. It was October, because we had put the house on the market in September, and we'd sold it, and we were going through the process with the sale, and I had that email, and we stopped training, went and looked at the website, and you rang and you spoke to Nuno at HI Homes, and he said it had come back on the market. But the thing was, whether it was estate agents selling or not, he said there's a lot of people interested, you need to commit.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been sales talk, but knowing the house as I do now, I think it probably was.
Yeah. So you had to visit. You came on your own actually, because I couldn't travel at that point. And you came, and I said, Andrew, you know what I like. I give you permission to say it's ours if you love it. And you loved it. We did video calls, and then I did come back with you just before. We managed to extend it just so that I could visit as well before we had to put the
longest house viewing I've ever done. I was at the house for 7 hours.
7 hours.
That was longer than the surveyor stayed there.
He actually let you stay, didn't he?
He left me with the key, yeah.
Yeah, let you stay. So that was how we started our process, and we did meet with Sam on our visit, and she introduced us to Newco and to Angela, and actually before you came, Angela came and did a FaceTime call from the house, didn't she? And I always remember she sent us a video of her with her mum in the car driving along, and she said Mum loves the house, she wants to live there. Her mum loved it, so I always remember that. So we found our house.
So then started all the visa process.
Oh gosh, that long ago. That's for another video. I think we've probably talked enough about how we started the process, haven't we? I think really next time, maybe it would be helpful for people to see the process of us selling our house, selling all our possessions. We had no plan. We didn't know where we were going to live, because we had a period of time before we left England to come here, and we didn't know what we were going to do in that period of time. So we found an Airbnb, which we booked for
2 months.
2 months, but we needed somewhere we could take Leo, our cat. So that wasn't straightforward, was it? The whole thing has had so many challenges for us, but we did it. So I think next time we should talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get on to the visa.
Yeah.
So any questions, ask in the description below. And anything else, Andrew? Anything else you want to say before we...
Time for coffee.
Time for coffee! Yay! See you soon.